Alright guys, welcome to another episode of The Tuman Show. It's confession time. I have two confessions for you guys. And it kills me to admit this, but confession number one, I turned the Lotus into a project. And it wasn't supposed to be a project. It's not a project. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. Pretty sure most of you guys figured that out by now. But hey, admitting is step one, right? Confession number two, that Benz, it's been a real pain in my ass. And so it's out of here. And what that means is with the Benz gone and with this stuck in Project Purgatory until further notice, I need to do something. And you know what? I had this idea on my mind as I explored getting rid of the Mercedes. And I need a fun car. This is a fun car. It will be a very fun car when it's done. But it will also be a fun car just for me. The Benz was supposed to be that fun car that I could take my kid to Cars and Coffee. And to, leisurely drives. Not my, usual canyon runs. So, this won't work for that. That one isn't gonna work for that. So I decided to buy another car. I know. You think I'm some big yuppie YouTuber, but the truth is I'm not. I'm just a car guy who's got a little bit of an obsession and a little bit of a problem. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. So, what am I gonna do? Well, I'm gonna give myself a $5,000 budget and I'm gonna try and turn a real piece of shit BMW E30 into something special. And now, let's go on that journey. This isn't gonna be a long build. This isn't gonna be a 10 episode project. We're gonna get it all done in this episode today. Because the truth is, I already started. And I let my impulses get the better of me and forgot to record some stuff as I got going. So, why don't I show you guys a little bit of the background. I found a 1986 BMW 325 ES that happened to have a fresh 2.7i. And if you don't know what a 2.7i is, the short version is that it's the ETA block, which is a 2.7 bottom end, with the 325i 885 head. It's a big port head. It's meant to give performance, and it was, the go-to hot rod mod back in the day. It's not really the best way to go about it, but you get a lot of the low-end torque from the longer stroke crank. You get some good performance from the big flowing head. And, it was always the E30 that I wanted to build. And in fact, going back to my first E30 was a 86 325 ES. And the plan was to do a 2.7i. Now I found a car, a white E30 that had a 2.7i in it. And that was supposed to be the fun car. And it was, until what seemed to be a crack in the cylinder head started to milkshake the coolant and the oil together, and thus began the long process of what became known as the aluminum monster. Now, my very first videos on YouTube were a dyno run, an autocross, and I think that was all I got out of the aluminum monster. But I put like 24,000 miles on that car in the first year when I finally finished building it. Building it was a whole headache. But that's another story for another day, and we're back to this. So, normal mods are coming. I'm gonna try and lean towards doing spec E30 stuff, just in case someday down the road I decide I wanna race it. Obviously the 2.7i isn't the right motor for a spec E30, but I figure wheels and tires, let's try and get some spec E30 correct stuff. Suspension, let's try and get some spec E30 stuff. And then from there, we'll see what I create. So why don't you take a moment, go grab some popcorn, get your beverage of choice, and let's spend the next 15 minutes or so building this car. So let's go. So we kick it off with loser and winner in this case, and the Benz being the loser naturally. This car was actually a weekend project for a good friend of mine. He pulled out a Hot Rod 2.9 liter M20 and installed the 2.7i. He's quite the wrench, and so he was a trustworthy person to buy the car from. And here you can see him lining up against the Super Etta. Not bad, I think. So the first thing I had to address was all of the faded plastic, and I always start with the grills, and here we go with some SEM trim paint on the headlight grills and the vent grills. Immediate improvement, still a lot to do. One of the first things I wanted to do though was really put the Recaro seats in. So once I got the planted seat brackets, beautiful install, huge upgrade, and I'm absolutely in love with it. Next, we deal with the typical odometer issues. And I've done this so many times, except usually there's a gear there that's missing. So I had to improvise. Yes, that is a drill bit that I cut down to fit. Sadly, still no odometer working, so I'll have to come back to that. But next up on the list was the exhaust. The car came with no cat, and I had a friend do that. And while he did that, back to the painting. Got to upgrade all of that faded plastic. But I also wanted to get rid of the paint off of those bumpers. And shockingly, paint thinner did the job. Fantastic. Now here we go. We're putting a cat back on the car because I'm not a teenager. Let's take a listen to how it sounds. Probably kind of loud. I'm not your typical YouTuber. I don't have a whole crew of editors and videographers or any of that stuff. Just a guy who likes cars, like that one and that one. So when I did the unboxing video, it came out great. But what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna just walk right up to the car and show you guys what I got. Oh yeah, look at those chunky boys. As I mentioned earlier, I was doing some spec E30 wheels, and I went to our Compound USA to install them. We're gonna take a quick look at how the profile was before with the stock bottle caps and the super old tires. Not bad, classic BMW. Luckily, with the larger and wider wheels, there was zero weight penalty and a huge improvement in looks, grip, stance. Well, actually the stance still needs a little bit of work, but if you know me, this thing ain't done yet, and I've got a lot more work to do. But we're getting there. Yeah, I couldn't resist. Let's see if these floor mats fit. I'm a bit of a dirty guy. Not in a sexual sense, more of the cleanliness sense. That's why I tend to buy shit boxes. Pardon my French. Dang, it's sunny right now. I just got really excited at seeing the FedEx guy pull up. You guys know the feeling. But yeah, on ECS Tuning, I found these floor mats, so we'll see how they fit. But the order was prompted by this little guy, which when it comes to E30s, there's a lot of little things that you want to deal with, and the lack of a gasket there is going to drive me crazy, but the reality is I'm probably not even going to put it in until after I paint the whole damn car, because it sucks to mask around this and this sucks to install, but you know, it's easy to install. It's floor mats. Let's take a look and see if it worked out well. Okay, here we go. This one looks good. Should be a perfect fit. Go a little higher. Looks good. Now this one also has some of these pads on the back to help it stick. I'll deal with that later. Okay. Let's get this crappy cloth thing out of the way. Much better. Much better. Sorry guys, it's super bright, but it's nice having a floor mat that fits properly, especially when I plan to do a lot of driving. So with that done, I gave her a bath and took her for a drive and got some air quote beauty shots. Yeah, she looks good. So why not show it off to the world with a trip to the Mid-City get-together? Obviously, still got some more things coming up, and consider these things sneak previews. But if you know anything, this is the Tuman Show, and stay tuned for more, because the project never ends.